Hi guys, and welcome back, this time to my kitchen. This is not my typical video, as you guys know. I usually share about downsizing, simple living, all that kinds of stuff. But in a previous video about my capsule wardrobe, I mentioned losing some weight and working with a nutritionist for a year. And a lot of you guys actually asked me to share some of those health tips with you. I am not going to turn into a cooking channel, that's not my thing, but I'm going to make this one video and hopefully condense it down and just sharing with you all of the health habits that I've implemented since working with a nutritionist. Let's dive in. One of the biggest things that I've learned this whole year is to focus more on what to add in instead of what I can't have. Because if there are things that I can't have, then I will most likely want them more. So I focus on getting a lot more veggies into my meal. And the first thing I usually do in the morning is actually to make a smoothie. And it's not your normal smoothie. Most of you guys, when you think about smoothies, are gonna think of yogurt, banana, lots of fruit, and all that kinds of good stuff. And smoothies is something that tastes good. Well, in this case, it took me a long time to figure out a kind of recipe that would work that didn't taste horrible. Because there's so many vegetables and healthy stuff in this smoothie. It's really a green smoothie. So let me just walk you through what I've worked out. I have found the easiest thing for me to work with is frozen vegetables and berries. Berries, they hardly have any sugar in them, so I'll just dump a bunch in there. They have a ton of vitamins. So really you can kind of eat all the berries you like and they'll never give you too much sugar. After berries, I add my broccoli. See, that will give you a lot of vegetables. And green cabbage, frozen. I find that if I add just 3 or 4 of these little cubes, then that will be fine and it won't taste a lot of green cabbage. I always add in 1 whole avocado. And I'm lazy. I just squish it right in there. If you never cut avocado before, just put the knife in the... Sometimes I'll add a banana if I have it. If I don't have it, that's fine. Sometimes you can add a few dates if you want it sweeter. I like it like this, and then I just fill it up with water. Once I've blended it completely smooth, I usually add 2 scoops of protein powder, and it's all natural, and some flaxseed oil, because then it'll have enough fat and enough protein to actually fill me up and give me a whole meal. A quick wash. That's it. Once I've blended it all, I usually add it to a jar, put it in the fridge, and then this will be my breakfast for probably 4 days, maybe 5. I just give it a little shake and it's good to go. Next up, which is also in the morning, is my herbal tea, and that took me quite some time to get used to, because you don't just sink the tea in there. This is like a granulate, and you put the whole thing in here. And to me in the beginning, it was not very good. It was very bitter, but now I just found out that I have to put more water in and add some more almond milk. So I have this big cup and I just fill it up halfway with boiling water. Like that. Try not to do too much dairy. I did introduce cheese and stuff like that back into my diet because I love cheese. And life would just be too sad with no cheese. So I added cheese back in, and occasionally I have some yogurt, but I try not to have like a glass of milk unless I have a chai latte or something. I'm going out with some friends or whatever on a date night. But in general, I try to stick to almond milk. If you can get the fortified one with calcium in it, that's better. I'm not against drinking milk. I just know that if you have stomach pains like I did and have problems, then milk can be really hard on your whole digestive system. So that's why I've tried to cut it out, and it has really helped. With cutting out dairy, I've also tried to cut out gluten, and instead I make these little knäckebröd. They're all made from seeds, and I love them, and they're a great alternative to actually having bread. So I can put a little bit of cheese on here, I'll put some paste or whatever on here, and I'll eat that, and that will be quick and really easy. So there's some sunflower seeds in there, some flax seeds, some chia seeds, and then when you put boiling water on all those things, they get so gooey and sticky. So I don't even have to use eggs to kind of bind it together. So I try to make a batch of this every 2 weeks, and it'll last me for about a week, and yeah, that's just the rhythm that I found. I love these, Max loves these, and there are a lot of natural oils in there which will fill you up and not get hungry all the time. Cheers. Now it's one of my favorite drinks, which is kind of funny. I used to not like it, but now I found the right way to do it. So I don't know about you, but lunch for me has my whole life pretty much been a slice of bread, or 2 or 3, with some stuff on it. And getting away from that, maybe you're a salad person and that's great, but that has been kind of hard. So I have tried to find a different way of doing my lunch. And what I came up with is, again, to avoid gluten, is a cabbage wrap. So I will take one of these cabbages, peel off a leaf like that, have a leaf, and then I'll just put my filling on there, kind of like if you're doing a burrito. I usually start off just adding this almond paste. This is the brand that I use. I don't know if you have it where you live, but this is really good. And almonds have a lot of fat in them, so they keep you filled up, and it's also good for your brain and all that stuff. Again, I'm not a nutritionist. I just worked with one for a year to learn some stuff and educate myself. But you're not gonna get fat from eating this. Of course, if you eat a whole jar, but it's like instead of eating sugar or Nutella, which is pure sugar, then you can eat this stuff, and it's a lot better for you. I have some leftover lettuce, so I'll put that on there. But most of the time I actually have some pre-chopped green cabbage or carrots that have been shredded, and that works out really well. I'll usually put some avocado on there again because it's healthy. The fats in there help me stay full for longer. So if I only eat just the vegetables, I'll get really grumpy. Hangry all the time. And then I'll just add whatever. Sometimes I'll add some eggs. This time I actually have some chicken. I can add some leftovers. And the last thing is maybe a little controversial. I don't know if you've ever been to Germany, but they have this thing called sauerkraut. In Danish it's surkål, and in English it's fermented cabbage. So it means that it has a lot of like milk acids in there. Again, try to look it up. Basically, you trap it with some salt in a little jar, and then it starts naturally to ferment. And some of that like fermentation stuff is really, really good for your intestines. My problem was that I had something like, it's like the leaky gut syndrome, if you've ever heard of that. So my whole stomach was just not happy. This is very, very strong. I have tried it like in a kimchi version. I've tried it with white cabbage. I've tried it with carrots, all kinds of stuff. I like the basic red cabbage the most. I find that it's a little bit sweeter, and it's actually a lot easier for me to eat. So it gives that like acidy, vinegary feel, like a little sting to it. I also sometimes add some sunflower seeds. I don't get really creative with these wraps. I have to just make it super easy. I wrap it up and then I just eat it like that. So this is pretty much my lunch, either that or a salad. So this is what I try to eat at least 5 days a week during the weekdays. Maybe not always during the weekend, but again, I try to focus on what to add in there and not what I can't have. And then sometimes we go out as a family and have something completely different, and I'll eat a burger with gluten in the bun and feel completely fine about it. But this is my lunch most days. The last thing that I've added to my diet that I want to share with you is a little weird as well. Most health things are. It's bone broth. This is one of the things, along with the fermented cabbage, that my mom makes for me. And I've mentioned this in my budget videos, that that's one of the ways that I actually save quite a lot of money, is that she makes it for me. So I have this in the freezer. I just take it out, and then I have in one little bag, I have enough bone broth for a few days. And bone broth, again, is really healthy for your guts. So if you have any kind of like leaky gut syndrome and is not opposed to drinking bone broth, which is basically soup that's been boiled on bones from animals. I drink it and I like it if it's made from cow. I heat it up. I usually have a cup of this in the afternoon, and that will serve kind of like a half meal. So I'll have this and then add in probably some of those crackers that I showed you too. Those were the things that I wanted to share with you, and I really hope that you found it helpful. I lost quite a lot of weight doing it. That was not the main mission for me at all, but it has been something that I've stuck with after being kind of done with the, I don't want to call it a diet because I was not on like a diet to lose weight. It was just to help my gut, and the losing weight was kind of a really big pro of doing this whole journey. When you do anything regarding nutrition, please do your research, find out if you're actually getting what you need. I'm a big fan of food, and I love burgers and I love cake, and I still eat quite a lot of chocolate. And I try to implement all of these vegetables throughout the rest of my day so I can eat all that junk without feeling guilty and really enjoying it. I try to get as many vegetables through the day, get the fibers from there, and just keep my stomach and my gut healthy. When I do take a break, after a few weeks, my stomach will really start to act up and I get quite a few stomach aches. So it is helpful to me, even though I do not have an intolerance, like I'm not allergic to gluten or milk or anything like that. But it helps if you have a sensitive tummy. So I hope you liked this video. Leave down in the comments what you think. Did you like any of it? And do you have any other health suggestions that you'd like to share with the rest of us? See you guys next time. Bye.